What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Sorry I'm a little late on this video, but this is going to be my ban list discussion. What I would do with the ban list. I don't like doing predictions because Konami is kind of nuts, and trying to predict them is really difficult to do. I mean, they've unbanned Reborn twice, they unbanned Ring, they unbanned Snatch still. I could have sworn they unbanned Ring twice. But anyways, like trying to predict Konami is just incredibly hard to do. I don't have all the cards, but you guys already know about that. Okay, so first we're gonna start with my ban cards. First up will be Cold Wave. I think Cold Wave was the first card I had on my last list, but this Joker needs to go. Pretty much if you've played like Fish OTK or even still X Sabers, you pretty much know why. Like, it just lets your opponent lock you down until the next turn. They do all their explosive plays, and a lot of times they'll leave one spell or trap on the field so you can't gorge them. So this card just needs to go, basically. Like, we have other cards, other ways of spell and trap removal. You know, too many debris, Black Rose plays. This card's not good. My second card, I don't have it. Mind Master. Mind Master needs to go. Like, I don't really see the point of like having this card in the game. To my knowledge, all it does is like just create OTKs and like FTKs and shit. Like I guess it was the Brain Research Lab one in Japan, and then I know Psychics are getting a lot of support in either Extreme Victory or the set after that. So I mean, this guy's just gonna cause more problems. So honestly, let's just get rid of the card right now. And my third would be Monster Reborn. Yes, my only Monster Reborn was actually in that deck. This card shouldn't have came back. So like, that's pretty much the only explanation that I have. Like, every time somebody plays it, it's like luck sack is shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you have Call to Haunted, you just play that. Like, Monster Reborn was not a good card to unban. Dark Hole was pretty decent, but Monster Reborn wasn't. For my limits, let's start with a card that I actually do have, since you guys haven't been seeing anything. Dandylion. Like, this card has been a problem ever since I went to 2. When it was limited in Japan, a lot of people didn't understand why. But it's one of those cards that basically, like, as the game progressed and more stuff came out, especially the synchro mechanic, you started to understand why. And then, you know, if it wasn't Debris Dragon or other cards using this as synchro fodder, then it became you know, the tokens. The tokens started making advantage, distributing for monarchs, and you know, ultimately we end up with like formula synchron abuse, because you know, every time this guy dies, he leaves tokens. And you know, not only can you just abuse using Dandylion with stuff like Drill Warrior, but then you also can abuse the tokens with, you know, formula synchron and monarchs and enemy controller, and just the list goes on. Like, Dandylion should have never went. It should have never went to 2, to be honest. Like, I think they had a good thing going there, and most people didn't understand it because we didn't have it in the States. My second is an obvious choice, Gateway of the Six. Like, this card needs to go. If you read Bobby Chambers' match from Shonen Jump or YCS Dallas, like, he opens with double Gateway and he ends the turn with 10 cards. Like, how the hell do you do that in Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, this motherfucker plus forward turn 1. Like, how do you end with 10 cards when you start with 6? I mean, this card is just dumb. And Kaizen is just, man, as soon as you get the boulder rolling, it's like practically unstoppable if samurais go first, because you know, they got the Kaizen play, which becomes free. And you know, Shien is actually a 6 samurai. I didn't realize that. I thought he was just Shien, like Great Shogun Shien or some shit like that. But this card is stupid. Whirlwind is at 1, and Gateway is better than Whirlwind. Like, Whirlwind has 1 effect, Gateway has 3. Whirlwind only works with normals, Gateway works with normals and special summons. And Gateway doesn't have the restriction that Whirlwind does, where your monster has to stay face up. So if Whirlwind's at 1, how the hell can Gateway, like, who can condone that being at 3? Like, that should be at 1. Trishula needs to go to 1, just because much like all the other ice barrier synchros, it's just a little too good to be at 3. I say that because like Infernity spam, and I mean I don't really think there's any decks that can like effectively spam it right now, but the synchro is just a little too good. Like it completely makes Mistworm irrelevant, so it should go to 1. Like it's by far the best 9-star in the game that I've seen anyway. Another card that should be restricted, Swap Frog. Robbie Cole said it best. Like this card just does a little too much. I mean, if you normal it, you get a Foolish Burial. If you can special it by pitching, so it makes easy synchro fodder. And then its third effect, you know, you can bounce stuff to your hand. Like, I mean, how many other monsters do you know that have 3 effects? Like, I don't really know that many. And I think this card honestly is the problem with like a lot of those decks, like Fish OTK or Formula Monarchs, which aren't really a problem, but just 3 of these is just a little too good. My next limited card will be Solemn Warning. It kind of pains me to say this because Solemn Warning is the entire reason that Hero Beat won that YCS, and that honestly, like anti-meta in my opinion, is competitive, but it's dictating way too much of the format to where you can just set up and then set warning and your opponent really can't do much. I guess it's comparable to like during Teledad format, you would synchro a shitload and then set oppression. And then when your opponent tried to synchro, you just like oppression and you mad. So it pretty much is the same thing. Like if you get Sheehan out and then you set warning, like your opponent really can't do. They can't use Speller Traps for the most part, and then they can't summon anything bigger to run over him. So it's just doing a little too much. And then of course, gotta make a little push for Tsukyomi. Like this card is slow and it's practically useless right now. Flips aren't really a big part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Outside of I guess Plant Synchro, to be honest, which would never use a Spirit Monster in their deck. So I just like, why is this card banned? Somebody please tell me. I'm just gonna save time and just say that. Semi-limited cards. Destiny Draw, because D-Heroes aren't doing anything, and they haven't since Teledad. Like, D-Draw was the one card when you looked at Teledad's restrictions and you were like, man, I think they went a little overboard on that. So, I mean, Ab-Zero would get like a little nice push from this, and it wouldn't make the deck like broken or anything. It would just be a lot more competitive, maybe close to tier 1. Another semi-limited card, Royal Oppression. Like, I think this is needed now. Royal Oppression, to be completely honest, is just, it's been completely outclassed by Solemn Warning, because even though Oppression stays on the field, Solemn Warning stops flips, it stops damage step summons like Gores and Nimble Hamster and stuff like that, and more importantly, it stops normals. You know what I mean? So if your opponent tries to normal something that could be a threat to your synchro, like Gale or Neomo, it just lets you completely lock that out. So I think Oppression at 2 is just needed right now. You know what I mean? Especially if Solemn Warning takes a limit. Another card at 2 will be Emergency Teleport. I mean, there's only ever been 2 cards that people summon with this, Krebons and Psychic Commander, and like they're just not a problem. So I don't really see a problem with this. This isn't Teledad format where you can remove Malicious, then play this, and you get, you know, spam out 8 level 8 synchros. So next card, Burial from a Different Dimension, semi-limited. I mean, Necro Gardener's at 1. Mizuki's still at 1. Again, I think I said this in my last video. There isn't really a ton you can do with this card right now. I mean, I guess the most competitive thing you can put it in is like Empty Jar once you use like 80 Changer or something like that. But, I mean, I wouldn't think that there'd be a difference between 1 and 3 in that deck, and I doubt the deck would even run 3. Some of them don't even run 1 Burial, so Burial to the Different Dimension to 2. And then here's my one card that's probably going to make people shit bricks. Infernity Launcher to 2. Infernities are basically like almost completely irrelevant this format. I think you see when Launcher's at 1, the deck is like dead. You just wait for them to launcher, and then you can like MST, or a well-timed Crow just completely shuts the deck down. And it's honestly, it's like way too slow to compete with stuff like Samurai and, I mean, sometimes even Fish. You know what I mean? But with 3, the deck is just nuts, and with Trishula out, they could just, like, I'm gonna summon a Trishula, and then I'm gonna spam you with a whole bunch of synchros. So I think 2 is the perfect number. And people say, oh, it's a double monster reborn. Okay, well, what the fuck is Gotham's emergency call? what the hell is double-edged sword technique? I mean, granted, those are traps and they have to be set. Neither of them require you to not have a hand. That's what I've always said about Infernities. Yeah, they got some busted effects, but the thing about Infernities is you have no backup plan. Like, if that fails, then you're basically just hoping to top, one of a few cards to try and get back in the game. If you go for this and it doesn't work, you will lose the game. Make no mistake. That's it for semi-limited cards. And then my 2 unlimits are Mystical Space Typhoon. Because we got rid of Cold Wave, we need a little more Magic and Trap Destruction. I think MST at 3 would be healthy for the game. I mean, most people are playing 2 now. I don't really think another copy would make that big of a difference. Keeps Launcher in check. I mean, I'm not going to say put Gateway at 2 or anything just because MST is at 3, but I think 3 MSTs would be healthy for the game. I can't go into like extreme detail. It's just a personal opinion. And then my last unlimited card would be Summoner Monk. And it's just a card where when Rescue Cat was banned, like, this card should have instantly went to 3. I mean, the whole Flame Veil and this guy, that combo to make 8s is just, I mean, it's decent at best. Now with Warning out, I mean, it just became like meh. You know what I mean? Even Scraps, even all Scraps don't even play this card. Like, there's no deck, no tier 1 deck, or no deck even close to tier 1 that would like play 3 copies of Summoner Monk. Hell, even when even Rescue Cat, when they had 2 cats, like, they only played 2 of this. But I think Monk might have been semi then. But regardless, there's like no reason to keep Monk at 1 right now. It can't really do anything. So that's my ban list. We'll probably have the real one out coming within maybe 24 hours of this video. So I hope you guys soak this in. Check out my list and see how it matches up to the craziness that Konami always does. And leave your comments below. Maybe you guys might have some different opinions on the cards that I listed, or you might have some ideas that I didn't think of. Thanks for watching.